Let me tell you a little story. In the khutbah of Jumu'ah, a brother, he came up to me. He said, brother, what you just talked about really personally hit home for me. I talked about the death of Khadija, the death of Abu Talib. Such a serious thing. I sat him down, I said, please tell me. He said, brother, today was the first day that I prayed in a year. I was very practicing for most of my life, but today is the first time I have prayed in a year. I said, what happened? He said, about a year ago, my life was picture perfect. Everything is going according to plan. I was nearing the age of 30. I had gone through college and medical school, working 2 jobs on the side. I had gotten married during that time, found the woman of my dreams, the love of my life. We had 2 beautiful small babies. I was in my medical residency, working 16 hours a day. And we were living in a small, tiny little apartment, not in a very good part of town. We had 1 car that was broken down. It kept breaking down every other day. Years and years and years we got through, some way, somehow. I was now nearing the end of my medical residency. So I was starting to get offers from clinics and hospitals and doctors and groups. Very lucrative offers, 6 figures. And things were starting to work out. I had not one but multiple offers on my desk. We had gone looking for nice homes so we could buy a house in a nice neighborhood, nice schools for our children. We went to the car dealership and we're looking at minivans and nice cars. Everything was working out. And he said, one day I came home a little bit earlier than scheduled. I walk into my house. I said, Assalamu alaikum. And nobody responded. I looked at the time, and it was usually the time my wife would put the kids down for a nap, their afternoon nap, and she would take a nap with them as well. I don't want to wake them up. So I went, I got some food, I sat down with my books, did some study, answered some emails. After a while, I heard the kids from the room. The younger one was crying, the older one was talking, I could hear them. I got very excited. So I go to the room and I walked in and my kids are sitting on the bed next to my wife. They're awake. The younger one is crying. The older one is talking. And my wife is laying there between them, motionless, still, not responding, not reacting. And it looked wrong. Being a doctor, I jumped right in and I checked her, and she had been dead. But for like an hour. She was cold, she was gone. Just like that. He said, brother, at that moment, my life, it fell apart. I lost the love of my life. My children lost their mother. And I lost my faith, my iman. He said the next 24 hours were a blur. Janaza, tadfeen, funeral, burial. It went by, I didn't even realize what was going on. After that 24 hours ended and we buried her, I went to my room and I locked myself in my room, and I did not come out of my room for days. I did not hold my own children in my own hands for the next few days. My mother and my brother were taking care of my babies. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. After a few days, I crawled out of bed. I reconnected with my children. I tried to get back to work, figure out how am I supposed to work and take care of my kids. My mother and my brother, they helped me so much. Slowly but surely, over the weeks and the months, I put my life back together again. I got back to work. I figured out the schedule for the children. And I started figuring things out, but there was one thing that was still missing. One thing I could not figure out. My faith had been broken. I stopped praying. My brother, he kept telling me every single day, brother, come on, you need to pray. But I kept resisting and refusing. This morning, today, he showed up at my house and he said, I am not taking no for an answer. Mother will watch the children. You are coming to the masjid with me. You will make sujood. You will say Allahu Akbar, and that hole in your heart will be filled. And I came to the Jumu'ah. I heard the khutbah, and you were telling the story of the Prophet ﷺ, how he lost the mother of his children, how he lost the love of his life, and he lost his uncle, the man who had raised him from his childhood to adulthood. And I found the answer to my question. It made sense to me again. Think about this. After going through so much tragedy, how does the Prophet ﷺ wake up the next day, go out there and preach harder than he did yesterday, knowing that he's going to come home to an empty home, knowing that he's going to come home and have to look his children in the face and wipe the tears from their face that their mother is not coming back? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took him on the most miraculous journey any human being has ever experienced. It is called the journey of Al-Isra wal-Mi'raj. And there Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the Prophet ﷺ a gift. And that gift was the 5 times daily prayer. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the Prophet ﷺ, difficulties will come. Adversity will knock your door. Tragedies will befall you. But every single time you fall, stand back up and say Allahu Akbar. And pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And bow your head in front of Allah. And put your face on the ground and sujood in front of Allah. Salah will heal your wounds. It'll solve your problems. It'll ease your difficulties.